fully support the decision. Basically, this is a very important signal for the industry to understand that this is something that we really need to take care of. To be honest, when this case happened a few months ago, we were actually quite surprised because we haven't heard of this sort of things for quite some years already. So this time, we were like, wow, this sort of like ways of selling are still available in Hong Kong. So it does send a pretty powerful industry-wide reminder that those registered shops cannot simply just profit from doing this sort of things. And I think it is important for all those shop owners and also their shop staff to understand that pressuring visitors or having all these sort of like illegal acts are something that we really need to stop immediately. 1 month is actually quite a sort of not so strong penalties already. I mean, to be honest, they can totally confiscate the whole qualification for being one of those shops. I think that is something that sends a strong signal, as I mentioned, yeah.
So do you think this is an isolated incident? Is this situation common in the tourism industry in Hong Kong?
When this happened, we were quite surprised. That means we sort of thought that in Hong Kong, we don't do this sort of things anymore. After quite some years ago, we have been ambushing a lot of those illegal acts and stuff. This, I hope, it will be an isolated incident. After that, we haven't heard of any sort of like this act at all. But of course, as I mentioned, something like this needs to be done and needs to send a strong signals for the industry to remind them this is something that the Hong Kong government takes very seriously, and especially TIA, there are the authorities to make sure this sort of things wouldn't happen, especially during peak travel. Here is a small handful of operators can consider or trying to find some ways on doing this sort of high-pressure selling, and we hope that will not ever happen in Hong Kong for sure.
So how do you think this kind of incident would affect tourists' experience and affect Hong Kong's reputation as a tourism hub?
Tourism is Hong Kong's very precious and hard-earned golden brand. We are the haven for shopping, and especially during some years, I mean, a lot of the social media, anything happens to bad experience to basically bomb sharings around like Facebooks and threads and even red notes and things like that. And I think we wouldn't want that reputation to be shared around or damaged by this sort of behavior. So that's why I think those sort of like real-time reporting channels for tourists and a more clear and firm accountability rules is very important. And as I mentioned, sending a strong signal to let the industry know this is basically a red line you shouldn't cross.
Regarding the supervisory mechanism, you just mentioned the real-time report. Do you think there should be other ways to prevent this kind of incident?
Basically, I think the industry already knows that there is something that they shouldn't do. But I think the intention of doing so is basically on money, right? Something that they can earn. So that's why this, I believe, will be the first stage of reminder to let the industry know what this is something that will be crossing the red line. But if you're going to do that again, TIA really needs to consider whether to confiscate their qualification for this sort of like tourists at all. I mean, this is how, we escalate on those penalties and on the linking into their qualifications.